Well, hello everyone. This is Emerald Greenforest, and I am back with you for the second segment of our Get Out and Speak presentation. As you can see, I've taken care of the hair situation, put it up in a little bun, and hopefully it will be working for me for the rest of this presentation. Anyway, I am very excited that you showed up for segment 2, and that tells me something about you. That means that you are actually believing in yourself and ready to invest even more in getting your message out into the world. So we're going to get started right away. And today I'm going to talk with you about, whoops, I need to actually fix my screen here. Share my screen here. We're going to talk to you about the Be Heard by Millions solution. So here we go. Let's get started with this slide. Come on. There we go. Okay. So the Be Heard by Millions solution is all about you being heard by millions and living your destiny. So I want to start our time together today talking about belief, because one of the most important things that you need to do is to be able to believe in yourself, in your message, and in your power to change the world. And believe me, believing in yourself is not always an easy task. So I'm going to share my story about beliefs and my own journey around changing a lot of the beliefs that were holding me back. And I'm going to ask you to take some time to get really clear about what you believe and also about what you believe about your message. Maybe some of the beliefs that you are carrying are actually lies. So I don't know if you ever looked at the word believe, but right smack dab in the middle of it is the word lie, L-I-E. So some of our beliefs are actually lies that we need to let go of so that we can step forward in a bigger way and get our message into the world. This process is designed and intended to help you strengthen your belief in your vision, your belief in your message, and your belief in yourself. And yes, that is going to take some effort. And yes, there is going to be some work involved. And yes, there will be time-consuming steps that you'll have to take to move you and your message forward. But this work will help you believe you can actually do this. You can do this. You can move forward fearlessly. You can create what you want to create, and you can create revenue. And you also can serve in a way that allows you to be prosperous as well as comfortable in a lifestyle that also serves you. So here's my little story. Let's see how long ago it was now. Probably 20 years, almost 20 years ago. I was in a marriage, and I didn't realize until pretty late in the game that I was involved in a relationship where I had a toxic partner. And I grew up with this belief that when you make a commitment, especially marriage vows, that it's until death do us part. I really took that promise literally, and I thought I was in this relationship for life. Literally, I thought it was a life sentence. Then I got some new beliefs from people who believed in themselves and their message enough to put their own message out into the world. And I was also supported in my new beliefs through friends and spiritual experiences that allowed me to come to a realization. I needed to see that the highest commitment I could ever make was to myself. And as I went through my soul searching in that first year of 2001, I started to question my marriage and my relationship. I was literally on a quest, and I started a yoga practice, and that opened me up to powerful awareness about the nature of the world and my own true nature. So at one point, my husband and I are on a camping trip. We were not sleeping with one another at this point because that aspect of our relationship wasn't working anymore either. And he was pressuring me for a decision as to whether we would stay married. But I was in this space of, I just don't know. I need time to figure this out. So one morning while we were camping, I get up at the crack of dawn and take a walk in the woods. And I come to the river where there were stepping stones and this big flat rock out in the middle of the river. So I walked on the stepping stones out to the rock and I just sat there. And as the sun came up over the mountain, I had a huge opening to what I call source. I experienced pure love energy just pouring down through me, over me, and all around me. And when I came out of that experience, I had a vision to write a book called Making Love to a Rock. The book was to be all about helping women open up to their true natures in order to love and take care of themselves first. That book never got written, but it was the vision that awakened in me the realization that I needed to do something to help other people. And I needed to get a message out into the world. I needed to bring the wisdom that I was receiving out into the world and share it with more people. It was really the first time that I ever really connected with what I would call now the real source. So understand that no matter what you're inspired to create, that creation is coming from some source. And part of believing is believing in your connection to your own source. So the first thing we want to do when we're called to be a messenger is believe. Believe in ourselves, believe in the message, and believe in the importance of bringing that message out to serve the people that you are specifically, exactly, and precisely meant to serve. So I want to go over now the 5 simple steps that you can use in order to be able to be heard by millions. And these are the steps that every single influencer out there has had to take. And sometimes we take those steps not in the right order. But my intention is actually to teach you how to take those steps in the right order so that you are able to get yourself out there and speak as quickly and as efficiently and as confidently as possible. So the first step is you must have a clear message. You must have a clear message. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is that you understand exactly what it is that you're going to be speaking about. You know exactly who it is that you are going to be speaking to, and you know exactly where you want them to go at the end of your presentation. So I want to talk about the cloud of confusion, which we talked about earlier in the first segment. When you're in the clouds of confusion, you can be speaking, and nothing is landing. Nothing is getting through to the people that you are most meant to serve. So I want to have I want to take a few moments with you right now to just take a nice deep breath and settle into your own body. And take a nice deep breath. And what we want to do, the best way to get clear is to get grounded. So what we want to do is I want you to get out of your head for a moment. And I'm actually going to stop sharing so that you can actually see me instead of the screen there, instead of the PowerPoint. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a nice deep cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then take another nice deep cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more nice deep cleansing breath. And as you breathe, set your intention that this last breath is going to help you to both become clear, so clear your head, and to become grounded and present and right here with me in your body. So what happens a lot of times for messengers, and this is what happened to me, I will admit, and I see it all the time with other messengers as well, is we get so on fire with our message that it's literally like we are spraying it out with the fire hose. And we often forget to check in with ourselves and see if we're grounded, number one. And number two, we often forget to check in with our audience to see if they are actually capable in this moment of consuming what it is that we're offering. So one thing I like to do when I'm helping messengers to become more confident and to become more clear is to encourage them to break down what it is that they are trying to express into baby bird bites, because your audience is not as on fire about this message as you are. And so the work is really about taking all this enthusiasm, all this energy, and all this power, and all this excitement that you have about your message and condensing it, concentrating it, and cutting it up actually into little pieces that your audience can then consume. And that is the core of having a clear message. It's not just about knowing who you want to speak to and what you want to speak about, but it's really about becoming extremely precise with exactly what you're going to say so that you make the connection, so that your message lands not just intellectually, but in the hearts and bodies of the people that you are speaking to. And we get caught up, oftentimes we get attached, and I definitely am one who was the person who did this. We get attached to the idea of we have to get it all out. And getting it all out is only really serving you. It's not always serving your audience. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath and make sure that I'm slowing things down enough so that you are actually picking up what I'm putting down. So that being said, as you can see, having a clear message is essential. It's like the core foundational piece of this whole party. Because if you don't have a clear message, and if you're not clear in your own self and confident in your own self and grounded and present in your own self, then again, it's literally like you're spraying water out of a fire hose. And some people might get wet from that. Some people might be blown back from that. And some people might run away from that. And that may or may not really be serving your purpose, because what you really want to do is inform and at the same time invite. Like, here's what I can give you in Baby Bird Bites, and I have so much more. I really, truly, deeply have so much more. And I'm holding it sacred. I'm holding that more that I have sacred. And I'm holding you sacred in being mindful enough to provide only what's necessary and not so much that you feel like you just gorged at the cruise ship buffet. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but I guess that's going to be part of the presentation at the next event. And that's the other thing about becoming clear. When you become clear, you have enough of a outline of what it is you want to say, that you don't lose yourself in the process of your expression, but also that you have spaciousness to be able to bring through those kind of spontaneous messages and stories that want to be heard by the audience that's actually in front of you, because every single audience is different. So this, again, this is not about having a canned talk that you repeat the same exact thing every single time. That is not in service, and people can tell. People can definitely tell. All right, so let's go back to our 5 steps so that we make sure that everybody is getting all that I promised that you would get. So we talked about step number 1, which is H, have a clear message. Step number 2 is E, that is expertify yourself. So I'm going to come back, stop sharing, and be present with you. So expertify yourself. What does expertify yourself mean? Well, I made up that word. I like making up words. And what that means is really claiming your expert status. So for a very long time, I called myself the Empress of Empowerment. And that was my expert status. I had a brand called the Empowered Messenger. My website was the Empowered Messenger. I was the Empowered Messenger. And my expert status was Empress of Empowerment. Now, you don't have to be fancy schmancy and call yourself an empress like I did. But what you really want to do is you want to claim your expertise in the particular area that you are an expert in, so that the audiences out there and maybe the media and publicists out there understand exactly what it is that you are bringing to the table. So you want to expertify yourself. And this is where we go on the mountain of visibility into that space called the emerging experts, where cash flow is between 6 and 7 figures. So how do we expertify ourselves? Well, that is, again, something that I work with people on. I help them to really drill down in and become clear about their own uniqueness. And generally speaking, what happens is when we build the signature program that is your proprietary system, it becomes immediately clear what the expertise is, so that we can find your expert title. So that is the second step. You want to have a clear message and you want to expertify yourself. Now, the third step, let's go back to the slide so you can see it. This third step in this process of being heard by millions is the A. And the A is really important step. I love the A. I love that it's right smack dab in the middle, because it's at the middle where we have the greatest momentum and power, and all of the things that are good. All the good things are happening right there in the middle. And so we are right in the middle right now of part 2 of our presentation, the middle part of our presentation. This is where all the juice and the good stuff is being delivered. A is the art of asking. So what does that mean? That means asking for money, having those conversion conversations. It means asking for help, maybe with a coach or a mentor like myself, maybe through the Profitable on Purpose presenter program. It means asking for support from team members. It means stepping into a leadership role and understanding exactly what you need so that you can communicate that clearly to your team. And it means asking colleagues to support you so that your message can be spread to lots of people. So a lot of folks that I've worked with over time, and myself included, have some exercising to do of the asking muscle. I actually just signed up for personal training a few weeks ago, and am discovering now why personal training is so important, because if you're not aligned properly, you're actually damaging yourself rather than helping yourself. And so the same thing goes with asking when you are a messenger. You have to ask for help from people who are further along on the journey than you are, if you want to be heard by millions as efficiently and expeditiously and effectively as possible. So asking for help and exercising your asking muscle, and also learning to have those very important, powerful sales conversations is essential to the success of your business, to the success of your message, and to your own, what I like to say, when you get your message out there and you are making money and you're asking for money and you're doing all these things that I talk about in the Be Heard by Millions solution, you actually are going to make a difference for your people. You're going to be serving your people, you're serving your purpose, and you're serving your pocketbook. So asking for money, if any of you have a challenge with that, there is some separate body of work that I offer all around the sales conversation, all around having those very important conversion conversations. And we can talk about that as well when you sign up to have a conversation with me at BeHeardByMillions.com. So let us go back to the next step in our process here. And I'm going to do these last two fairly quickly. So this next step, the R in the Be Heard by Millions solution, is to ready your back office with a back office that has your back. So what does that mean? Well, once you have your clear message, once you've expertified yourself, once you understand how to have a powerful selling conversation and you have something powerful to sell, which is exactly what we do in the Profitable on Purpose program, then you actually want to set up a repetitive system in your back end so that you can consistently be getting yourself out speaking, so that you have a support team in place who can help you with marketing and with technology and with processing your money and your bank account, your bookkeeping and all of those things. You want to have a team in place. You want to have people who have your back. And like one of my mentors, her name is Lisa Sasevich, and you'll see a little bit more about her in a moment. She was one of my mentors, but I was also one of hers. I actually served her as well. And one of the things she likes to talk about when she talks about team is having a team that takes. I love that vision. Having a team that takes is all about bringing people to support your vision and to support your business who are way better than you at the things that you are not supposed to be doing. So I'm supposed to be speaking to you. I am not supposed to be off in some corner somewhere counting up my pennies so that I can report properly to the IRS. That's what I have a bookkeeper for. So you actually want to ready your back office with a team that takes. And I like to call it the back office that has your back. And you don't want to be doing that until you have all these other things in place, right? And then the final thing is designing your deliverables. Designing your deliverables so that you can delight in the dollars. Designing your deliverables so that you can delight in the dollars is all about what we're going to do in the Profitable on Purpose presenter program. We are going to actually intentionally design a system, a process, a program that is your unique program, and it's going to be designed to serve your lifestyle. So remember, I used to be a single mom. I was going to the football games and making the cookies and doing, shelving the books in the school library so that I could be an integral part of my son's life. And so I needed to design my deliverables not only to be high ticket, but also to be able to fit my lifestyle, right? So it's not just about the high ticket, it's about designing the whole thing so that it actually fits your lifestyle. And that is a very important thing, because if you design something that does not fit your lifestyle, you will be very miserable. And that's not what this is all about. Okay, so I'm going to take a nice deep breath here with you. And we are going to dive into the 9 questions that you want to be asking yourself and that I will be asking you when you decide to sign up for an enrollment conversation with me, an evaluation conversation with me to discern if it's a fit for you to be part of the Profitable on Purpose presenter program. So the first question I have for you is, are you a messenger? And what I'd like to do is I'd like to have you take a moment and take a nice deep breath and sink into this question. Are you a messenger? And feel free to use this moment to maybe make some notes for yourself. Maybe talk to yourself in your journal or on a piece of paper. Ask yourself this question and see what the answer is. All right, so our next question is, what's your message? And really, this comes down to, are you clear about what your message is? And some of you might just feel this massive calling to be a messenger, and you kind of sort of maybe have an idea about what you'd talk about. And some of you already know what you want to talk about, but you're not exactly sure how to craft the message so that it is on purpose. And maybe some of you have already got your message really clear and you need help with some of these other questions. So no matter where you are on the journey, I'd like you to just write down on your piece of paper there, what is your message? Answer that question. What is your message? All right, nice. And our next question, who are your people? So one of the biggest challenges in the expert industry, in the information industry, in the messenger industry, in the expert author, speaker industry, presenter industry, is this question. Who are your people? Some people say, what's your niche? I like to ask about, who are your people? And many, many, many people make the mistake of thinking, I can take care of everybody. I can serve everybody. And what I want to do is I want to invite you, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, to discern whether or not you want to serve everyone. And one of the things that I do recognize about our current president is he was really excellent at being very exceptionally clear about who his people are. And he consistently and continues to speak and direct his message at his people. Not necessarily the American people, but his people. So you can tell he is really, really clear on who his people are. And you actually want to be that clear as well. So let's take a nice breath. And why don't you write down an answer to that question? Who are your people? And for example, one way that I define my people are coaches, consultants, change agents, and creative entrepreneurs. Those are my people. Yeah. And so if you're not a coach, consultant, change agent, or creative entrepreneur, you are probably not one of my people. Like if you're the plumber, unless you've had some kind of big awakening and you are like here to change the plumbing industry, you are probably not my people. All right, taking another nice breath, let's go to the fourth of our 9 questions. And this is, how are you getting your message out? How are you getting your message out? Are you speaking? Are you virtual? Are you speaking live? Are you writing? Are you writing a book? or articles? Are you podcasting? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are you just talking to people at the grocery store? And maybe that's the start for some people. Getting your message out starts with talking to people at the grocery store or in your yoga class. Yeah, so no beating yourself up about how you're getting the message out. Just know that there is help for that. Just know that there is help for that. And take a nice breath and just be honest with yourself in the answering of these questions. All right, question number 5. How many people have you reached? I can confidently say I have been heard by millions of people all over the world, both through my own speaking career and now with my Men on Purpose podcast. I have reached millions of people and all over the world. So from statistics that I have as a result of readying my back office with a back office that has my back, I know that I have reached 70 countries just with my podcast. And that is just in the last year. I've reached 70 countries around the world. Our latest countries were Morocco and Egypt. So I can tell from my back office how many people I've reached. And I'm clear about how many people I intend to reach. I continue to intend to be heard by millions and live my own destiny. And I hope to help you to do the same. All right. So question number 6, how often do you speak? So this is something that a lot of people don't pay too much attention to, but I definitely do. I have spoken at least 500 and probably close to 600 times in the last decade. I've spoken much more on virtual stages than I have on live stages, but I've probably got close to, I'm approaching 100 live stages at this point. And the more you speak, the more you are serving. The more you speak, the more you are serving your people, your purpose, and your pocketbook. So at the peak of my speaking, I was doing 12 speaking gigs every month, 12 times a month. Many of them were virtual. And there are so many ways you can get your message out. There's telesummits, there's podcasts, there's doing your own teleseminars, like, you can do them with video, you can do them with audio. There's many, many, many ways to get these out. So I was invited to speak at least 8 to 12 times every month on other people's platforms. And that is not counting how many times I spoke to my own tribe, my own list of people that I had started to accumulate. So I was also speaking to them on a fairly regular basis. So how often do you speak? Answer that truthfully. And how much money have you made in your business with your message using speaking? I can confidently tell you I have made a couple $1 million and more is on the way, because this is the easiest, most efficient, most effective way that I have found to connect, cash flow, and convert people in a convenient way. So how much money have you made? Again, be honest. And maybe on this question, put down how much money you'd like to make. How much money you'd like to make. How are you serving your people? Are you leveraged? Are you serving people one-on-one, or are you serving them one-to-many? When you are serving one-to-many, you are exponentially more leveraged and more efficient with your time and energy, which is why it's so important to have your own process, your own proprietary process, your own signature system, your own unique branded program, which is something that we do in the Profitable on Purpose presenter program. And finally, what's your greatest challenge? So just take a moment to put the answer to that question down. And I am now going to share with you my teacher and also my mentee, Lisa. So I'm going to share with you about Lisa, who also uses speaking. Lisa has now generated over $40 million in revenue. And she has become an Inc. 500 listed entrepreneur at least twice, maybe 3 times. And when we worked together, when Lisa and I worked together, she had just started in the business, not just started in the business, but she had just made her first 7 figures. She had gotten to her first 7 figures. And when she got to that point, and here's something that I want to make sure that everybody understands, is this whole idea of asking for help. This whole idea of asking for help happens at every stage of the game. Even when you've made $40 million in revenue, even when you're on the Inc. 500, even when you're already at 7 figures, you can still ask for help. You often find yourself, as you move up the mountain of visibility, needing different kinds of help. And so Lisa came to me right after she landed her first 7 figures. It was, in fact, right after her first event that she did on her own that she made $2.4 million in 1 weekend. And she came to me for help to be able to land that leap. Remember, I talked earlier in the first segment about landing the leap, because if you don't land the leap, you end up slipping back down the mountain again. And so she came to me to help her land the leap. And working with me, she said, was a soul opening experience, and one that opened her up to step into her leadership role in a more powerful and free way. Being firmly grounded in my power was key to being able to double my 7-figure business last year. If you're ready to leap fearlessly into your highest level of service and profit handsomely from following your spiritual path, then I recommend that you apply to speak with Emerald right away. So I would love to have you apply to speak with me right away. And we love Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. About the Profitable on Purpose Presenter Program, where I will help you to set yourself up for success so that you can be heard by millions and live your destiny. Now, again, I'm going to share with you briefly, exactly, specifically, and precisely what we will be doing in the Profitable on Purpose Presenter Program. We have 9 modules. It's a 9-week program. It's a small group. I only work with small groups or one-on-one. Between 8 and 12 people is what my definition of small is all about. What we will do in the Profitable on Purpose Presenter Program, number 1, our first 3 modules is helping you to distill and craft your unique signature system and build and design your deliverable so that you can delight in the dollars. That's the D in the Be Heard by Millions solution, right? Design your deliverable so you can delight in the dollars. So we're going to design your deliverable, which will be a high ticket program, meaning it will be selling for anywhere between $5,000 and up to, $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. I know Tony Robbins charges $1 million to work with him in some of his programs. So there's really no limit to what you can charge at a high ticket for a unique branded signature program. Let me make sure I'm getting that very clear and across to you right now. The second thing that we will be doing in the next 3 modules is actually building the talk that goes with your program. It's a talk that is specifically designed to inspire and instigate in people the desire to enroll with you in their program. And so the whole talk is literally designed to support bringing your program into profitability and taking those people who are prospects and turning them into clients, converting them into clients. And the third thing that we will be doing in the Profitable on Purpose Presenter Program, say that 5 times fast, is we will be working with how to set up your systems and reach out to ask for support, ask for help, which is exercising your asking muscle. Ask for help from promoters, other people who are list holders, other people who are having their own events, strategic alliances, and colleagues who can help you to get your message to more people. So you need to have things set up in order to make it easy for them. one of the main reasons that I was able to book so many speaking gigs repeatedly, again and again and again, year after year after year, is because my back office was so ready with everything that the people needed on the other side. And I was prompt in getting to them exactly what they needed in order to be a great partner with them to bring my message to their audience. And I will never forget when I actually hosted the Six Figure Speakers Telesummit. I was asking people who I perceived them to be further along the path than I was, because that's how you learn. You ask people who are further along the path than you are to teach you. I asked 21 people to be part of my Six Figure Speaker Summit so that I could interview them. This was back in 2010, so that I could interview them and get, information and guidance and learn from them what they were doing to have their six-figure speaking business. And I was shocked at how difficult so many of these pro speakers, these people that I looked up to, how difficult they made it for me and my team to actually put together our promotional materials so that we could promote them to speak to my audience. And so I made a commitment to myself. I made a vow to myself that I would never be that kind of speaker, because it gets around in the industry if you are difficult to work with, and it also gets around if you're a dream to work with. And that's what we want for you. We want to make sure that in the last 3 modules, you are so set up and clear about how you can be a great partner for promoting your presentation and your program. So if you are interested in talking with me about whether or not it's a fit for you to enroll, we're going to do an enrollment evaluation together. I will sit down and basically ask you these 9 questions or some variation of the 9 questions that we just went through. I will be asking you those questions, but I'll be listening deeply to your answers to discern if it's a fit for us to work together. So you want to go to BeHeardByMillions.com. And when you get there is a magic form that you fill out, which will help our team to queue you up in our list of people that we are going to be able to talk to. There's going to be a booking link there. If we feel that it's not a fit, we will actually cancel whatever you have booked for time, and we'll let you know why we feel it's not a fit. But generally speaking, anybody who goes ahead and fills out the enrollment evaluation application, you're going to get booked into my calendar. We are going to have a conversation, and we're going to see if it's a good choice for you to go ahead and get enrolled in the Profitable on Purpose Presenter Program. All right, we are at the end of segment 2, and so I'm going to invite you to take a nice breath and a nice break, and I will be back with segment 3, where we're going to lay out your 7-figure speaking plan.